खिलाफत के अमी हम हैं, अमानत हम संभालेंगे, जो नेमत छिन चुकी
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I pray you are all well in these unprecedented times and also still feeling the spiritual benefits after Ramzan and after Eid as well. I've been asked to share some incidents of mine with Khilafat and Khilafat Ahmadiyya. And one of the main things that springs to mind from my perspective when I was reflecting on this is the time that we have been able to spend with Hazur over a prolonged time around the national ijtimas. So if I think back, obviously we do get to see Hazur during Jalsas, and we do get to see Hazur when we go for mulaqats, and we also get to see Hazur when we go to the centre, the markaz, to read Salat. But we really get a love and affection from Hazur Yaqtas when he has spent times with that ijtimas, mainly because it is just Khudam that are there, and I've always truly felt those benefits of having Hazur around. I remember reflecting one time where as soon as Khudam were coming to the ijtima, this was when we were still hosting the ijtimas in Islamabad before the renovation, the restoration of Islamabad, and the move of Markaz to Islamabad, where Khudam were asking, is Hazur here? And that feeling of Hazur being there was completely different feeling than if Hazur wasn't there. And that year, this was a few years ago now, and the actual year eludes me, but Hazur was spending all 3 days of the Ijtima with us. He was staying at Islamabad, and he was actually visiting some of the events as well. I remember one of the events that he visited was the basketball final, and he just stood there for 10 or 15 minutes while Jamia were playing one of the better Futu teams, and it was a really intense game, and it was just amazing to have that time being spent by Hazur. I think at one point he actually stopped the game just to talk to both teams, and that must have been an amazing experience for the players involved, and I was just a spectator on the side. And even then, just thinking about it is bringing a smile back to my face, just because of the time that we got to spend with Hazur. So bringing it back again, when Qadam were asking us, is Hazur here? And we were giving them the answer that yes, it was, again just that smile that would erupt on people's faces, because it was just a completely different sensation. I think if I was to just ponder over it a bit more, it'd be like potentially having a UK Jalsa without Hazur and having it with Hazur. What kind of difference would that feel to us? It definitely feels like there was something missing if Hazur was not at a UK Jalsa. And on that basis, the way that Hazur was spending time with us at those ijtimas for the entirety of the ijtima just felt completely different. I remember we actually held a exhibition sport event for Hazur, which included the 4x100 meter relay, or the relay race, so 4x whatever 60-70 meters it ended up being. So the exhibition, the 100 meter final, a strongman exhibition which included car pulling and the like, the assault courses and what have you. And just to see in such an informal environment where Khudam that were competing with their lives just to try and win in front of Hazur, and be greeted by Hazur if they won or Hazur called them over. But yet the atmosphere around the event and Hazur being there and Hazur smiling and laughing with everyone was just an incredible experience, and something that when I've been asked to think about this is one that I don't think I'll ever forget, because ultimately those blessings and those happinesses that you have, those are things that you end up taking with you, and it's one of those where you'll end up telling your grandkids that this is the time that I remember this happened with Hazur. And alhamdulillah, in this day and age as well, we all end up taking photos, and we all end up having the official photos that come through to us. And even over those times where Hazur was watching the basketball, for example, I think I've still got a picture somewhere that someone had shared, that Hazur was watching the final of the basketball, and there's obviously the official photos of the events as well, that Hazur was watching, is all available, and it's all memories of the heart, but also now physical memories that we can save on mobiles and share at later dates as well. I think it was that same Ijtima that a couple of weeks after that Ijtima, a week or so after the Ijtima, I was privileged enough to have a family mulaqat with Hazur. So that family mulaqat included my parents, it included my grandma, my younger sister and my brother as well, so an older brother of mine. I was local qaid at the time of Bradford South Jamaat, and Hazur specifically asked me, after he'd spoken to my parents and the elders in the room, he asked me how the Khuddam felt about the Ijtima itself. And my simple response to Hazur at the time was, well, Hazur, you were there for the whole time. And that is something that was completely memorable for us, because I think, again, that probably would have been my first experience of Hazur spending the entirety of the Ijtima with us. And Hazur kind of, smiled and laughed it off, but was like, no, give me some more. I need some more insight. So even the fact that Hazur was asking for feedback about the Ijtima directly from someone that was just in his office just goes again to show the love and affection that Hazur shows. And we often hear from senior members of Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya and senior members of Jamaat that Hazur has directly asked and given guidance on certain things. And I think one way for Hazur to give guidance is to try and get feedback from the ground level. And at that time, I was a local guide, so to some extent he was getting feedback from the ground level. And I did share some feedback with Hazur, and he did consider it. And ultimately then that is, again, that love and affection that Hazur shows us manifests itself when he does come and spend time with us, and he does trying to make sure that the Ijtima has improvements, make sure that we cater for everyone, we improve every single year. And alhamdulillah, is with the guidance of Hazur that we have seen our Ijtimas improve. We've seen our attendances improve, we've seen our activities improve, we've seen our infrastructure improve. We've obviously moved away from Islamabad in recent years and moved to bigger sites, and that is just through the blessings of Khilafat, and through the love of Khilafat. And actually, if I bring it back again to a recent Friday sermon that was delivered by Hazrat Amir al-Mumineen, Hazur mentioned when after his recent incident of his fall, that the love between the Khalifa and the members of the Jamaat is a mutual love, and it's a two-way love, and ultimately that's what this is. I'm thinking back to our experiences with Hazur, and the love and affection that we were shown when he spent days with us. But ultimately the Khalifa loves us just as much as we love him, if not more. And Hazur always, at that time wanted us to improve, and he continually wants us to improve. And that's something that we should always strive by as well. They often say that if you're standing still and you're not improving, you're actually going backwards. And alhamdulillah, it's a prophecy given to the promised Messiah alayhi salam as well, that your message will spread to the corners of the world, and that's obviously through continuous improvement. The Jamaat inshallah will grow through the leadership of Hazur and the divine leadership that we get to Khalifa Waqt, and that only comes with constant improvement and with sincere love from the Khalifa to the Jamaat and the Jamaat to the Khalifa. And those are the few incidents that I wanted to share. I hope that in my own manner that was something that resonated with a few of you in regards to the incidents that we had with Hazur, and especially it hits home, I guess, because of the fact that this year's Ijtima we're not able to go ahead with it, and there's the functions that we're having are essentially extremely limited, and we just pray that inshallah Ijtimas, Jalsas, even events at the mosque, even being able to travel and read namaz behind Hazur continues very, very quickly, that we emerge from this spiritually strong, and we emerge from this in a way that we really take benefit from the blessings of Khilafat, and we also truly appreciate the blessing that is Khilafat, and that we safeguard it for now and forevermore by instilling that love of Khilafat within our children and within the generations to come. So with that, I would like to say Jazakallah for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.